Oh, shit. Boom, boom. It's the padded room. What's up, everybody? My name is Darian. I'm that guy. And this is That Show. And you are here with me. What's up, dudes? It's a solo show tonight, gang. Gang, whatever, whoever you are. A little bit of a scheduling conflict this week. Excuse me. I told Chuck and Buddy not to come because I didn't know what time. Dude, it's that time of year, fellas. That's what it is. It's August is slowly drawing to an end, which means so is the summer. And from that point forward, it's all smooth sailing, boys. It's fall time. It's autumn time. What do you want? You want the pumpkin spice latte thing at Starbucks? Go ahead. You want a little sweater weather? It's coming at you. You know how I know? I'm going to tell you right now how I know it's time, because my kids go into full-on tackle football. And for all of the scheduling burdens, the financial burdens that come with it, it's a great time of year, dude. I'm out there. I'm hanging with my kids. We're watching the other kids practice. Eventually, there will be some games involved, but right now we're still in the practice stage. And it's like an annual marker for me that I know summer is almost done. Fall is very quickly approaching, and with it comes all the cool things that the fall brings. Spirit Halloween stores. How about that shit? They're not open yet, but I'm going to tell you right now, Lowe's has some pretty good stuff up. Costco has like a giant skeleton thing. It's like a half skeleton deal. It's not like the full one, but it's still pretty cool. The Halloween decorations are popping up, and that's good news for us, bros. This is our time. This is our time of year. You know what I mean? Spooky season, as it's called by many. But it's not just about the spooky season. It's also about first day, going back to school. You know what I mean? If you're a kid and you're going back to school, it sucks because your break is over and now you got to get back into the swing of homework and stuff. But with that comes the promise of other things like new friends, getting on a football team, not to keep bringing it back to football, just maybe a young romance could spring forth. Who knows? I don't know. I was not a social butterfly when I was younger. Hard to imagine, I know. But, it's just what I'm talking about. It's that time of year, dudes. I'm into it. Unfortunately, it doesn't leave me a lot of free time. So I do have a question. Before we move forward with the regular horror show, I do have a question for you inmates. So I'm thinking about October. I gotta look to the future. And if you remember, those of you that have been with me for a while, we did a thing last year called the October Bloodlust, which was basically me doing my 31 for 31. Jason Harrell was here at the time. We skipped over the feature film, and we just kind of did a long-form version of What Are You Looking At?, where we did basically just ran through all the movies that we watched in a given week in October, because naturally that cycle is going to get accelerated. So what I want to know, inmates, and hit me up on the mental health hotline or the regular old email. Should we do the October Bloodlust again, or should we stick with the running theme of the year, which is, each month has its own monster? I'm going to tell you right now what I had slated for October. I believe I got my list right here. Just stand by there. Let's see here. So that would be December, November. It would have been sea creatures. So let me know what you think. It's either another round of October Bloodlust, or we can do a month of sea creatures. Totally up to you guys. I'll leave that in your capable hands. Either way, I need to know so I can start putting pieces in places and things like that. All right, enough about that shit. I think it's time for a regular old horror show. You know what, dude? I don't mind doing the solo shows. I feel like a crazy person in here talking to myself, but sometimes it just happens. And I'm going to tell you right now, motherfuckers, if you think for 1 second that I'm going to miss a show because somebody didn't show up, you are out of your motherfucking mind. I will not miss a show. The only thing that's going to keep me from missing a show is if I lose my voice, which is what happened a couple weeks ago. What was that? July, I think. But regardless, I got too many goddamn horror movies to get to. I'm thinking about kicking it up to 2 a week. Think about it. Is that what you want? You want the padded room twice in a week? I can do it. I don't know that anybody else can. It'll probably just be me, but I can do that. All right. Enough about that. We got a regular shit show to get into here, inmates. Horror news, listener mail, all of the usual fun stuff. I'm going to do what I always do and kick things off with some horror news.
Horror news.
Yeah, buddy. What do we got here? We got a Halloween video game in the works from the same team that brought us the Evil Dead video game. Couple of thoughts. I love a horror video game, obviously. But the problem, I feel, is that they are now becoming very formulaic and repetitive. Dead by Daylight, I think, set the precedence with the 1v4, one killer, 4 people trying to accomplish tasks. We kind of got an expansion on that a little bit with Evil Dead. That went into Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which I am not that hot and bothered by. And there's a number of reasons for that. That's a whole other show we can do. Killer Clowns from Outer Space, I think, is popping later this year. Same thing. It's going to be like a team-on-team MOBA, multiplayer battle arena. I don't know. You know what I'm talking about. But I have a feeling that if we do the Halloween video game, it's going to be very similar to the Friday the 13th video game, which wasn't bad, but you have 300,000 people wanting to be Jason Voorhees and 16 people wanting to be the camp counselors. You know what I'm saying? You see the problem here? That's where we're at. It could be cool. I'll probably buy it just because I'm a fanboy. For me, Dead by Daylight, dude, it doesn't get any better than that. Michael Myers is already in Dead by Daylight. I don't know if you knew that. As Buddy mentioned last week, Dracula's about to hit. What do you got? Dude, Dead by Daylight. You got Michael Myers, Jigsaw, Pinhead, Pyramid Head, fucking Leatherface is in there. Freddy Krueger. Don't get your panties in a bunch, goddammit. It's not Robert Englund Freddy Krueger. It's the remake Freddy Krueger. So, don't jump out of a window. I'm going to tell you right now. It is the 2011 Freddy Krueger, so calm your ass down. But every 4 or 5 months, they drop another DLC pack on us. with one of our favorite horror villains, and usually a map and a survivor to go with it. I don't think it gets any better than that, man. That's just me. What else we got here? Lego is releasing a Nightmare Before Christmas set this Halloween. There's something else for you to step on in your bare feet and scream and yell about. I'm sure this fucking thing is going to be about $600. And I'm sure there are also horror dorks lined up outside of Target, outside of the Lucite case that you now have to ring a sales attendant to come let you into to purchase the Legos. Whatever, man. If you're into, I don't understand the appeal of Legos to adults, but apparently that's a thing. And because they're now doing like, Game of Thrones themed Legos, and basically a Lego set for whatever you're into. Adults are now buying Legos and spending quantitative amounts of time building these Lego sets. Go ahead, dude. It's not my jam, but by all means, whatever floats your geek boat. What else we have here? Netflix has ordered an animated Ghostbusters series. Now, a couple of thoughts on this. I can't say for sure, and it's not been confirmed or denied if it's going to be the quote-unquote real Ghostbusters that a lot of us grew up with, which was the weird, it was the Ghostbusters cartoon, but it strayed greatly from the movies. I'll just say that. In that scenario, Slimer was like their pet ghost. And, Ray was kind of overweight. And I think the guy that voiced Garfield voiced also Peter Venkman. And Egon had like he was blonde. He was like platinum blonde. And he had like a spiral haircut thing. It was a weird deal. A lot of people love that. I'm okay with it. I'm down with that. I don't know if that's what Netflix is doing. They might be going a totally different direction. It might be more of an anime situation. I don't know. Whatever, man. I don't care. I don't care about Ghostbusters. I mean, I do, but I don't care about Netflix animated series, is what I should say. This is something I am reserving judgment about. James Wan is in talks to direct a Creature from the Black Lagoon remake. Okay. All right. So let's think about this for a second. James Wan does good work. There's a couple of variables in this equation. Number one, is this going to be part of a dark universe situation? Did we murder the dark? I feel like we did murder the dark universe because everybody shat on Tom Cruise's Mummy except for me. So I feel like that's kind of out of the question unless we can somehow tie this into the 2020 Invisible Man, which would be dope. And let's just put this out there. 2020 Invisible Man, directed by Lee Winnell, who was James Wan's writing partner in the original Saw. So this could be a redux. I don't know what that means exactly, but it could be like a reimagining of the dark universe. And if we can tie those in, bros. I know we mentioned previously Ryan Gosling was going to be the Wolfman. Handsome devil, that guy. Whatever. I'm into it. Any werewolf movie I'm into. So let's keep our fingers crossed. This could be something that kicks a lot of ass. Or it might just be another pipe dream that got fucking more smoke that got blown up our ass by Bloody Disgusting, as they are wont to do. Speaking of James Winnell, I've got something that is not smoke being blown up our ass. Trailers are up for The Monkey, which is directed by Oz Perkins, produced by James Wan. It's a Stephen King adaptation. We talked about it a couple weeks ago, and it's basically a wind-up toy monkey. In the short story, it was actually it was like a monkey that had symbols. And every time, it never worked, but randomly it would clang the symbols together, and every time it did, somebody died close to the kid that owned the toy monkey. So there is a very, 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 very loose adaptation of this called The Devil's Gift. Came out early 80s, if I'm not mistaken. This is obviously a reimagining. Oz Perkins. We talked about him last week, Blackcoat's daughter. Does good work if you can forgive him the beautiful thing that lives in the house, or I am the pretty thing that lives in the house. If you can, okay, that's a bad movie. Let's be honest, that's a bad fucking movie. It's not bad, it's just boring as fuck all. Forgive him that. Clearly he was feeling himself with his, subtle nuances and his slow burns and his people talking to inanimate objects for no fucking reason. But that notwithstanding, he does do good work. Blackcoat's Daughter, great movie. He's done other good shows. So, with James Wan on board to produce this and assist, I hope, and it's a Stephen King adaptation, I feel like we are at least in the right neighborhood. And I watched the teaser trailer. Doesn't really show you anything other than Theo James. Theo James is going to be in this also. I don't know if you know who that is. He was in The Gentleman. So there's that. And it's just him screaming and then this toy monkey. Apparently in this version, the toy monkey is going to have a snare drum instead of the cymbals. So take that for what I don't care. I don't care about that. All right, that's all I got on the horror news, motherfuckers. You ready for some listener mail?
Listener mail.
All right, let's kick things off with the dummy of horror, the one and only Tim from Sydney, Australia. Subject line, cold, sweaty predators. Hello, my special people, Buddy, maybe Chuck, and of course the Big D. Hope you all have been doing well this past week. I've been suffering with pneumonia. Been off work for a week and basically bedridden, which sounds nice, but no. All my body wants to do is sleep. While I sleep, I sweat a lot. Like every morning, my wife needs to change the bed sheets because they are dripping with my sweat. Tim, dude, I don't know what the fuck is going on, man, but it is going around. So, for us, it started, I want to say beginning of July. Deacon got pneumonia. That's my 10-year-old son. He gave it to my mom, my 73-year-old mom. She got it real bad. She had to go to the hospital. I had to go take care of her and try to convince her to go to the hospital. In doing so, I somehow dodged the pneumonia. Well, what I did get was a bronchial infection. In the meantime, my daughter, Daphne, gets strep throat. So that was pretty much, that encapsulated the entire month of July for us. I've still got a minor cough, dude. I don't know how I gave it to you guys, but sorry. Maybe put a condom on before you listen to the podcast. I don't know how that works. Anyway, enough about me and my gross body. Let's do it. Tim, I hope you feel better, buddy. It's a motherfucker, and I am still getting over it. So somehow I didn't get pneumonia, but I did get the infection, and I still have a lingering cough, dude. Meat Hook, horror film set in the cold. I'm going to give an honorable mention to a film called Frozen. It's about a girl called Elsa and her snowman friend. It sounds creepy as shit. Oh, I lie. It's the Adam Green film. Darian, you know the one. Yeah, as far as I'm concerned, Tim, that's about as good as Adam Green is going to get for me. That was a legit horror film. After that, he dipped into fucking nonsensical adolescent fan fiction about giant killer jizzwads. And, the Hatchet series, which I think I feel like it's basically making fun of me in some weird way. I don't know, dude. I'm not an Adam Green guy. Digging in the Marrow, not that good. All right. Don't get me started on Adam Green. He's not that great. So here's my 3. Number 3, Let the Right One In. Very cool. Number 2, Misery. Number 1, The Thing. I feel like everybody's number one should be The Thing. And that shouldn't just be exclusive to cold horror movies. That should be everybody's number one. It's not mine, but it should be everybody else's. You know what I mean? So don't do as I say. Don't do as I do, but do as I say. I feel, well, whatever. So Abigail is fun. I enjoyed it. The little girl does an amazing job, as do the rest of the cast. I enjoyed them all except that junkie character who speaks like a fuckboy. He's played by Angus Cloud, and he passed away in July 2023. Darian, I have no idea who you are, but you have my interest. Okay, Pterodome, why does my horse have to fight Freddy? Why couldn't he fight Chucky or something? Okay, either way, I'm taking the Predator, and I actually believe he wins here. We have no idea if predators sleep or dream, so let's rule that out. But if they do, predators are smarter than school kids. Let's remember that it took Arnold Schwarzenegger to kill a predator, and it took school kids to stop Freddy. So if school kids can figure out how to stop Freddy, then I'm certain a predator can stop him as well. Predator all the way, man. That's it for me, gentlemen. Much love to you all. Catch you down the road. I agree with you, Tim. I was saying predator from the word go. The thing is, Freddy can be pulled out of the dream. And okay, all right. If you want to get really stupid about this, look at Nightmare on Elm Street 1. How did Nancy Thompson defeat Freddy? She turned around. Okay, she literally turned around, and then he dissipated into a sparkly cloud of poofadoo. I don't know. And that is reason number 212 why I don't think the original Nightmare on Elm Street is that good, ladies and gentlemen. You heard it here first on the Padded Room podcast. Okay, enough about that. Tim, I'm going to put 2 down for the Predator. Thank you very much for your votes. Bang, bang. And that is all we have on the emails. I think it's time for some voicemails, amigos. I say we kick things off with our main man in Alabama. Here comes Alan.
Room, what's up?
What's up, Alan?
Everybody's doing good.
I'm okay.
The three-headed Cerebus. Anyway, Pterodome, give me Predator.
Yeah.
Darian, you are come and see.
All right.
I've heard about that movie for a long time, been wanting to see it, having a hard time finding it.
I got it right here.
And let's see, Meat Hook, Cold Weather Horror.
Yeah, what do you think?
Number 1, I'm going to go this one. It don't get a lot of love, but I really like it. Ravenous.
Yeah.
Number 2, I'm going to go The Thing.
Of course.
And number 3, even though you don't really see the cold, the movie, it feels cold.
Huh.
And they talk about, that as winter and fall comes,
sure,
they could starve.
Right.
I'm going to go The Witch, even though the main horror is the witch in the woods. If they weren't, trying to get food and stuff, I don't know if they necessarily would have encountered it as much.
Of course.
That's all I got. Y'all have a good one. Talk to y'all later. Bye.
Beautiful, Alan. Alan brings up a good point. Now, the meat hook was cold weather horror. When we think cold weather horror, we immediately jump to like blizzard situations, snowed-in situations, cannibal things, like he brought up Ravenous, which is a great movie. What you don't think of is the mild cold. You know what I mean? And while it may not seem, I've got a great example of this coming up. And what are you looking at? While it may not seem impending or imposing, it is still an element in the movie. And Alan, I think, brought that into focus beautifully with The Witch, because while the cold wasn't necessarily oppressive or foreboding or in any way life-threatening, it was an element that was closing in on that family. Winter was fast approaching as, they're trying to gather food. They're trying to, goddamn fucking baby took the... the baby. How about that? Alan, you make a wonderful point, sir. Well taken. Let's see here. It looks like he called back, actually. So let's hear what else he has to say.
All right, so I'm back. So
Yeah.
what am I looking at this week?
Yeah, what do you got?
I watched Abigail.
Okay.
I watched it last week. Really liked it.
Okay.
Did not care for Melissa Vieira, whatever her name is.
I have some thoughts.
A little blonde hacker chick was cool.
Yeah.
Really liked a little ballet dance thing to Danzig.
Right?
Let's see, what else I watched? I watched that Johnny Cage cartoon they did, Uncaged. That was all right. Thought it was a bit overlong.
Yeah.
Me and Shelley went and saw Borderlands.
What do you think of that?
I liked it.
Okay.
Is it great? No. Never played the game, so I don't know
Okay.
how accurate it was. But as far as like an entertaining ragtag group of misfits save the earth,
Okay.
that's cool.
That's
then I watched
basically the game.
another movie called Abigail on Tubi,
Huh.
which I dug. It's kind of a slasher flick.
Oh.
And finally, I thought Deacon did a great job when he filled in for you that night.
Oh, thank
And
you
the
very much.
joke
I will let
about
him know.
the nosy pepper, you know what you say to that nosy pepper?
Huh.
I'm not your friend.
Hey!
That's all I got. Talk to you later. Bye.
Woo! Oh, if he was not at football practice, I would march his scrawny ass in here and make him get on the microphone to address that. Thank you very much, Alan. I am not your friend. Because he jalapeno business. Man, fuck. All right. I've got some serious thoughts about Abigail. We will get to that in immersion therapy, obviously. Let's get down to Southern California. Here comes Mr. Tom Hardy.
Hey-yo.
Hey-yo.
Padded room, out my favorite degenerates.
What's
out
up, big
there.
baby?
We hope everyone is doing well.
I'm okay.
And a big shout out to Big Pete. I just want to get in real quick
Big
here for the Terror Dome.
Yeah, what do you think?
Freddy Krueger versus the Predator.
Yeah, what do you think of that?
And I'm going to give this one to Krueger.
Okay.
I think every critter does sleep, so I think that's where Krueger will get him.
Okay, that's fair.
Nothing, I don't know. Nothing in the Predator's arsenal says he's gonna take out the Dream Master there. So put me down for Krueger.
You got it?
On the meat hooks there, we got Cold Weather Flick.
What do you think of
Yeah, I
that?
think I got pretty much the same as everybody else.
Okay.
Number 3, Dead Snow.
Dead
I
Snow.
actually preferred the original.
Oh, really?
To the sequel.
Okay.
I don't know, the sequel was just a little too far for me. But it was still good. Still enjoyable. A little too much.
Okay.
Number 2, though, would be The Thing.
Number
and
2.
number 1, Shining.
The Shining, of course.
Yeah, just great flicks. And I think taking into consideration, like, the weather actually being a threat as well, not just, like, movies that took place, in snowy weather or whatever,
Sure.
but where the movie, or pardon me, the weather is actually a threat.
Okay.
Yeah, those are the 3 I'd go with.
I agree.
No idea who you are on the educating department.
Okay.
But I did get to catch a couple of flicks.
What do you got?
I caught this one called Tarot. It's
Tarot.
a newer flick.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
I heard good things.
It's not bad.
Yeah.
You know what you're getting into.
Uh-huh.
Like when you read the synopsis, you know exactly what type of flick it is. Pretty good up till the end. I don't want to say exactly what kind of broke one of my main rules for a horror flick,
Okay.
but I don't want to say what it is. It's a new flick. Maybe people check it out.
Sure.
But I did get to catch Abigail, man.
Yeah, what do you think?
Flick. Good flick.
You like that?
I thought it was pretty fun. Funnier than I thought it would be as well. I didn't think it was going to be that kind of flick.
Okay.
Got to catch H.P. Lovecraft's Witch House.
Huh.
Low budget,
Okay.
H.P. Lovecraft kind of a flick.
Yeah.
Not bad. I was really actually enjoying it earlier on.
Okay.
You know what you're going to get on this kind of low budget, acting wise, special effects wise.
Yeah.
But they had a critter in there, and this critter looked pretty fucking good.
Oh, okay.
But then I don't know, it kind of fell apart at the end there.
That'll kill
It's
it.
like, you know what? We're looking at a solid, 6.5, 7 flick,
Okay.
And kind of fell apart there
Oh.
at the end of the movie.
That'll happen.
Also got to catch Willow Creek.
Oh.
First time viewing for me.
Nice. GP. Sorry, Tom Hardy. I'm going to address Abigail when we get to that point in the show. But, yeah, dude. I'm not mad at it. Well, you know what? I'm not even going to get into it yet because it's not time to do that. So let's just get right back to Tom Hardy. He did call back. Here he comes. G motherfucking P, baby.
I don't know. What were we on? G motherfucking P?
Yeah, of course.
Oh, yeah.
Willow Creek.
Anyway, we were on the fucking Willow Creek there.
Yes.
I don't know, man. I thought it was all right. That one tent scene at the end.
Yeah.
I assume this is why people really like this flick.
Okay.
It's this very long fucking scene where they're just whispering.
Yeah.
I don't know. It fucking dropped me out of it. I was like,
really?
Get the fuck out of here. Something happened. Move. You know, it's a fucking found footage flick. There's certain things you expect much more movement than that. But
yeah.
I don't know. Kind of fucking dropped me out of it.
Well,
I think you were arguing before for Exist versus Willow Creek.
I'll take Exist.
I'd go with Exist.
Yeah, me too. I'm not mad at Willow Creek.
Wrong with Willow Creek, just all in all. Then I watched House of a Thousand Corpses.
Attaboy.
Gotta say, man, I fucking love that opening.
Yeah.
House of a Thousand Corpses, man. I think you had a meat hook recently on opening.
Best opening scenes.
Man, that's hard to fucking beat. I did have another controversial thought, though, about House of a Thousand Corpses.
What's
that?
that?
Get your thoughts on.
Yeah.
For me, I think it's my favorite Rob Zombie flick.
Really? Okay.
I recognize everybody, Devil's Reject, and I think there could be an argument that is his best flick. But for me, my personal favorite flick, I think it's going to be House of a Thousand Corpses.
Okay. All right.
Much better of vibes. I don't know, point that just fucking degenerates into a Rob Zombie video. But
sure.
Whatever, it was still fun.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Last thing, been catching, and I think Buddy said that he was rewatching Bates Motel.
Chuck was.
Started that with the family about a week ago.
Okay.
I never caught it when it was originally on, but I don't know, about 6-7 episodes in. Not bad. Not bad. It's fun.
Cool.
So anyway, that's all I got. I'm through throwing it on. Hope all is well. Love you like family. Bye.
Love you too, Tom Hardy. You give us a call and drone on as much as you like, sir. You are you got the VIP pass here in the padded room. He brings up an interesting question. What do you think is Rob Zombie's best movie? A lot of people point to The Devil's Rejects. I'm with you on that, except that's not my personal... If you break it down to like movie fundamentals, riveting scenes, just character arcs. I'm talking about like Film School 101. That is probably his best work of art, so to speak. You'll hear a lot of complaints about 31. You'll hear a lot of complaints about what is that? El Sexorcisto Diablo or whatever that fucking nonsensical cartoon, which by the way had some serious star power behind it. Rosario Dawson was in it. A bunch of other fucking people did voice acting for it. If you want to know, but here's what the question that I would ask you. You've got laid out in front of you Rob Zombie's entire film catalog, and you have exactly 2 hours to kill. Which movie are you going to put in? My personal choice, Lords of Salem. I'm going Lords of Salem. Number of reasons. Number one, I feel like the visual aspect of it is far greater and more... It's a breakaway from the trailer park, which, let's be honest, that's kind of where Rob Zombie lives. That's his wheelhouse, and that's fine, but we're not there in this movie, and we're not going there. We're not going anywhere near there. We're in fucking Salem, Massachusetts, okay? So what we are gonna deal with is themes of addiction, themes of human drama, and the kind of cyclone that encompasses that addiction, to involve friends, co-workers, romantic interests, things like that. And then we're gonna inlay the Rob Zombie backdrop of Salem witchcraft, and all that fun stuff. And goddamn, is there a nice set of boobs in that movie? It's very short-lived, but they are still nice. Elizabeth Pena gets naked. 61 years old at the time of the filming. Still looks good, I would say. She's naked, she's in a bathtub, she's smoking weed, it's amazing. That's my personal favorite. I would love to know yours, and so would Tom Hardy. By all means, chime in, inmates. Let us know. Mental health hotline is area code 775-387-0275 or the padded room 2000. Oh, fuck. That's the old one. I've been saying it for fucking 13 years. Just go to paddedroompodcast.com and let me know. In the meantime, I think it's time for me to get into a movie.
I've always believed that there were several planes of existence, and we as human beings inhabit only one.
What happened to you guys last night anyway?
I was attacked.
Is this the first time something like this has ever happened?
No.
Things have come to me. In the night.
Why do I see and feel these things?
Some things are more terrible than other things. And you felt like a man?
Big man. But when my son came in, there was nobody there. He evaporated.
That's classic poltergeist activity. You know, there was a time when people believed in the supernatural. These ghosts and demons were only ideas, but people saw them.
You think I'm insane?
First, we have to find out what the problem
In
is.
the meantime, I'll be dead. He's stronger than you are. He'll kill me if he has to.
Isn't it possible that some entity has crossed into our plane of existence?
There was somebody there. I couldn't see him with my eyes, but there was somebody there.
He's in the room!
Will you appear to us now?
It's my decision
What, to stay sick?
to stay alive.
You want a little glimpse into my childhood, inmates? I actually saw this movie in the theater at the ripe old age of 4. 4 years old, my parents took me to see this movie. I don't know why I have this weird penchant for horror films, but this might have something to do with it. Scared the living piss out of me, but not to the point where I was like afraid of getting raped, but because I didn't understand that, and nobody bothered to explain it to me. But still, you know, it's clearly there's a violent act happening. I'm talking about The Entity from 1982, directed by Sidney J. Fury, written by Frank De Falleda. Got 6.7 stars on IMDb. Stars Barbara Hershey, Ron Silver, and Alex Rocco. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. You've seen it. I know you've seen it. Don't act like you haven't. You probably pleasured yourself to it. I know I have. That is wildly inappropriate. But Barbara Hershey did have a body on her. Except that it wasn't really her body, I found out. Where do we start off in the San Diego area? We have a single mom with 3 kids, 2 little girls and 1 18-year-old boy. And she's doing the best she can, dude. She's got a job as a administrative assistant, and then at night she takes classes, and she's got a full-on schedule. Good news, the older son is old enough to take care of the 2 younger girls, so he helps out a lot. Excuse me. And everything is going smoothly. She gets home from work one night. She's getting ready for bed. And she's like, what the hell? I think there's somebody. And then she gets slapped by a ghost hand right across the face. And then tossed on the bed and furiously raped. Now, a lot to be said about these rape scenes. They're not graphic in a sense of I spit on your grave, but they are violent, and the music accompaniment to it is very pounding and driving. While you're saying, oh, I just freaked I just freak the fuck out of my dogs. They also are terrified of ghost rape, apparently. And in these rape scenes, you just kind of see her being pounded into, and like kind of struggling to breathe and things of that nature. So that's the start of our story. We're about 6 minutes into the movie. Bang, we got our first rape. She pops up. She's freaking right out. What the hell? I was just raped. All of her kids come running in. The older son goes and searches the house, trying to figure out what's going on. Nobody there. All the windows are closed. All the doors are locked. There's no sign of forced entry. There's nobody in the house. So his name is Billy. He tries to convince her name's Carla, that maybe she just had a bad dream. Everything's cool. Just go back to bed, Mom. Everything's cool. Calm the kids down. Everybody goes back to bed. She's laying in her bed. Naturally, she's not going to sleep after something like that. And we jump right into Ghostquake territory. That's a pet peeve of mine. I know I brought it up before. Every ghost movie at some point has to institute the ghost quake, which is when our haunting victim is sitting quietly and then the entire house starts to vibrate and shit starts falling off. That it seems kind of it's like a cop-out, if you ask me. I don't know. That's just my opinion. We jump right into ghost quake territory. Now she's freaked out. She jumps up, gets the kids in the car, and goes hauling ass to her best friend Cindy's house. Cindy's pretty nice. She's like, yeah, come on in. Get ready for bed here. You can sleep on the couch. And she's like, hey, you want to tell me what's going on while you're sleeping on my couch tonight? And she was like, yeah, so I was raped and attacked, and but there was nobody there, so I don't know. And Cindy's like, okay, cuckoo bananas, but yeah, I'm your good friend, so go ahead and sleep on my couch. And you know, Cindy's husband's kind of a dick about it. He's like, yeah, she's crazy. Get her out of here. Everything is cool. They go back to the house the next morning. And they're like, all right, well, everything seems to be copacetic. We need to get back on with our lives. So Carla gets in the car and starts driving to work. Her car suddenly is possessed. And it goes veering off into oncoming traffic and spinning around corners and doing a bunch of damage. And eventually she careens off the road and stops. What the fuck is going on with her? She doesn't know. Ghost car. Ghost took control of the car, I guess. Fucking shit. So now she has to go to the hospital, and this is where we meet Dr. Snyderman, played by Ron Silver. Now, this is where we delve into 1982 land. And it's not to say that I don't like this movie, and I don't enjoy this movie, but because this is an early 80s horror film, it's still tailing on the end of the 70s, and as we know, in the 70s, most horror films had to have the B storyline of two people falling in love, usually our victim and our hero. So here comes our hero. We already have our victim. They're going to have to fall in love, and this becomes very problematic, and it really makes me not like Ron Silver or Dr. Snyderman. I mean, it's not his fault, the actor. It's just how he would play the part. But he comes in and he examines Carla, and he's like, yeah, you got a mild concussion, but I think the real question we have to ask is, why are you driving into oncoming traffic? And she's like, I don't know, my car, it just... And eventually she breaks down and makes a full confession. Look, I was attacked by somebody I couldn't see last night. Now my car is spinning out of control. I think there is something in my house, and it's fucking with me and raping me, and I don't appreciate any of the above. So he naturally, being the... he's not a psychologist, he's more of a physician. He's like, well, Carla, this has more to do with you and psychology, and you have some deep-seated psychological problems. We need to take a look at those. And she's like, yeah, I don't think I do. I think I just have a haunted house type of thing. He's like, no, we need to get you medicated and sedated, and we're going to get you into a hospital. It's like, well, I don't have time for that, so I'm just going to go back to my house and try to carry on with my life. Hopefully it doesn't happen again. Goes back to her house. Unfortunately, rape number 2 is about to kick up. This one comes right as she's getting out of the shower, and we get So, okay. Let's discuss Barbara Hershey here for a second. Not hideous by any stretch of the imagination. She strikes me as a poor man's Sigourney Weaver, just not as attractive. But to be honest with you, if it's 1982 and I have to choose between having sex with Barbara Hershey or Sigourney Weaver, I'm taking Sigourney every day of the week. But in this particular scene, she appears to get fully nude. It's not her body, inmates. I'm going to tell you right now, those are stunt boobs. I don't know whose boobs those were, but they were great. Very full-figured. They were not Barbara Hershey's. And if you watch that scene in detail and study it the way that I have and do the research, you will know that they are stunt boobs because at no point do the boobs appear in the same shot as her face. Stunt boobs. That's how you can pick that out, inmates. That's a little tip. Little trick of the trade, as they say. Gets raped as she's getting out of the shower there. This one's much she gets her face slammed into the mirror and gets bent over into the tub and her face is pushed into the shower curtain. Very scary, very frightening, violent. Gets slammed onto the floor when whatever is done with her. She goes back to the hospital the next day to talk to Dr. Snyderman, and she's like, look, bro, I know you think I'm full of shit and I'm some kind of wackadoodle individual, but look, she starts disrobing, and she's got these claw bruises on her back. She's got bite marks on her boobs. She's got other claw marks on her ankles, and her inner thigh is all jacked up. And clearly she's been roughed up, and not in a way that she could do it herself. Now, at this point in the movie, this is where our full-on invasive, kind of creepy love story kind of ramps up. And it's, by 2024 standards, it's borderline inappropriate, because this is a doctor-patient relationship, and he's asking a lot of inappropriate, he's doing a lot of inappropriate things, I would say. To start with, when she goes back and she shows him all the bruises, he does a lot of, there's a lot of Ron Silver looking her up and down, okay, if you understand what I'm saying. There's a lot of, listen, Carla, I care for you, okay, and I want what's best for you. You're my patient. Okay, all right, I see what you're doing there. But that's how movies were written in the late 70s and early 80s. So that being said, she's like, I'm not crazy. Look, how could I have possibly done this to myself? And he's like, I don't know. I'm going to consult my colleagues. She goes after the examination. She goes and she starts getting ready to go home. He catches her in the waiting room and offers her a ride home. Again, probably inappropriate for a doctor to do. When they get to her house, he's like, This is the house. This is where it all happened. And she's like, yeah, I think there's something in there. And he's like, I'd like to take a look around if that's okay. She's like, yeah, go ahead. So now he's at her house poking around after hours, meets all of her kids. She makes him a cup of coffee. They sit down at the table and start talking about her past sexual relationships. All right. Okay. All right. We just have to write this off as a movie that was made in 1982. And that's where it's going to be. Because this is wildly inappropriate. And it's also a work of fiction for the most part. So we can just kind of say, all right, he's trying to get in her pants is what he's doing. And I guess this was okay at some point. So basically, we get a little backstory on Carla. The father of the kids died in a motorcycle accident back east, and she moved out there. She has a boyfriend, a guy named Jerry, played by Alex Rocco. We'll get more into him in a second. Eventually, Dr. Snyderman goes away, and we're right back to where we started. So she's getting ready for bed again. Now, there's like a weird sound that happens right before we get into Rape Town. It's like a heavy breath kind of. Oh. That's not it, but that's the best I could do to compare to it. It's like, oh. So she's getting ready for bed, and she hears the oh. So she's like, oh shit, it's going to happen. What the hell? She rounds up the kids and they all go running into the bedroom and they're like, he's here. It's good. Something's about to happen. And they're all freaking out and they all heard like the sound. So Billy's like running around the house trying to find the source of the sound. He gets underneath the house and basically finds out that there's like a loose pipe, and every time he pushes on it, it makes the sound. I am doing a wildly inaccurate characterization of the sound, but that's the best I can do, and you're going to have to live with that. So if you want to see what it really sounds like, watch the fucking movie, why don't you? He's like, oh yeah, look, Ma, you just pressed this pipe. And they're like, oh, okay, maybe I am crazy after all. So she goes back up into the house, and everything is cool that night. The next night, however, we go back into Rape Town. She's getting ready for bed again, gets her blouse ripped open, tossed on the bed. This time, Billy hears her in the throes of this, so he comes running in to help her. Basically, he turns into Lord, like, he tries to, like, help her up, and then he gets knocked across the room, and then he pops back up, and he's like, Mom, I'm going to help you. And then he gets struck by lightning in a weird, like he's turning into Raiden from Mortal Kombat, like it's coming out of his hands and stuff, and then he gets knocked on his ass again, and this time in a very cool special effects move, Barbara Hershey is, like, laying naked on the bed, and you can see her boobs being fondled. Again, not really her boobs, but it was practical effects for 1982, so that was kind of cool. I mean, it's clearly like she's laying under the bed and they have this prosthetic body, but you can, for what it's worth, it's not a bad attempt at a phantom boob fondling, is what I would call it. Very scary stuff. She goes back to Snyderman the next day. This time, Snyderman has set up a conference, I guess, with all of his colleagues, and she goes in there and she has to, like, basically be interrogated by all these doctors, and the amount of smoking that was happening at this hospital is really absurd. Like, they're asking her questions about her sex life and where she came from, and she can barely see them through all the fucking smoke in this room. And, like, every time the camera pans back, somebody else is lighting up another one, or has a pipe going, or there's one doctor that has, like, a big fat stogie, and he's like, "Brr, I think you're working out sexual regression," with a stogie in his mouth. What the hell is going on here? I get it, 1982, apparently we failed to realize the perils of smoking cigarettes at that point, but, dude, are we? Do you want to talk, or do you want to, like, play hide and seek through this fucking fog that you've created in this tiny ass hot boxed room? What do you want to do? Regardless, anyway, they all interrogate her. She feels like they're raping her too, I'm sure. And then they let her go, and then they have a little powwow, and they all agree that she's cuckoo bananas, and she's just feverishly masturbating, and to a point where she's doing harm to herself. Never mind the part where half the bruises would be physically impossible for her to self-induce. Somehow they think she's, like, rigged up cords and cables or some shit. I don't know. It doesn't make a lot of sense. And these doctors, along with Ron Silver, kind of pissed me off. So she goes back and talks to Snyderman after that, and he's like, well, I think what I'd like to do is I'd like to have you committed for a few days. How do you feel about that? She's like, no, I got kids to take care of. I got bills to pay. I'm not going into a mental hospital. It's not really a mental hospital, by the way. And if we really wanted to have you committed, we could just do it involuntarily, you see. And by the way, I was thinking maybe we could have dinner later. He's still trying to get into her pants. And it is distracting in this movie. The way he is trying to, like, finesse his way in there. She's like, yeah, no, I'm not doing that, and thank you for your help, but look, I can't, I'll just deal with this on my own. I don't know how, but if you're threatening to have me committed and taken away from my children, then no, go fuck yourselves, I'll deal with this on my own. Goes back to the house. This time Jerry shows up. We finally get to meet Jerry, played by Alex Rocco. I don't know if that name rings any bells, but he was like the I think he was Mo Green in Godfather 2, wasn't he? Let me IMDb this guy. But he showed up in a lot of movies. He played a lot of token scumbag types. And he is not that far off in this movie either. I don't know what kind of arrangement he had worked out with Carla. She loosely refers to him as a quote-unquote boyfriend, but basically he is always out on business. He rolls into town every couple weeks, bangs the bejesus out of her, and then takes off again. And she is A-okay with that for some goddamn reason. Alex Rocco. There he is. He was, in fact... Yep, he was Mo Green from The Godfather. So, there you have it, dude. He's a token scumbag, and he plays just that type. He rolls into town. He bangs Carla. She doesn't tell him what's going on, but he breaks some good news. He's like, hey, after this last business trip, I get to take over the San Diego home office, and I'll be here permanently, and we can finally be together on a regular basis. And she's like, oh, yay, that's great. Alex Rocco had to be at least twice the age of Barbara Hershey at the time of this movie. He had full-on silver fox gray hair. I think she was probably late 20s, maybe early 30s. He had the chest hair, overweight. I will never understand how certain actors and actresses get written off as attractive. You know, then this is a prime example of this. This is a hideous human being, and somehow he is laying nude on top of Barbara Hershey. Who the fuck signed off on that? Who ever decided that we wanted to see Alex Rocco topless? Not I, that's for sure. All right, I'm going off on a tangent here, but whatever. She is very distant, and he notices. He's like, what's going on? I thought you'd be happy. And she's like, I'm very busy right now. It's a lot to take in, so, okay. We'll talk about it when you get back. Okay, so he takes off again. Once he leaves, of course, ghost rape. Again, freak right out. This time she's thinking, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to split, and I'll leave the kids here at the house. So she goes and arranges to stay at her friend Cindy's house, and she leaves the kids alone at the house. She wants to see if the fucking thing is going to follow her to Cindy's or if it's attached to the house. So, unfortunately for her, it follows her to Cindy's house. Cindy and her husband George are there. They're like, you know what? Make yourself at home. We got to take off. We got to go to this wedding thing. And, just get comfortable. They walk out of the door. They get down the steps. They live in an apartment. And they don't quite make it to the car before every fucking window in the apartment implodes on Carla. And she has to duck and cover and do a combat roll to avoid the glass shrapnel. Cindy and George see all of this, and they go running upstairs. George is like, you crazy bitch, you broke every window in the house. And Cindy's like, no, she didn't. You saw it. All the windows just imploded on her, you crazy bastard. And Carla's like, you saw it? You actually saw it? Oh my God, somebody saw it. Somebody can validate the things that I'm experiencing. And Cindy's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry I doubted you. So that's great. The next day they go to the bookstore to try to find some books on spiritual protection or something like that. They're there in the New Age section, and while Carla is there, two doofuses come strolling in, and they're like, oh, we got a poltergeist activity we got to check out, and we got to get our equipment, and we get with new books coming out on spectral phenomenon, and, they're a couple of jack-offs. Carla overhears this conversation, and she's like, hey, you two virgins, would you like to see some spectral phenomenon? Come over to my place. At first, they're like, well, actually, ma'am, we're looking for serious spectral phenomenon, if you understand, not your delusional blah, 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 blah. She's like, yeah, okay, come on over. Come have a cup of coffee with me at my house. So they go over there, and they're, oh, you got a broken mirror over here. Look at you, so scary. She's getting the coffee together, and they get to witness firsthand a ghost quake. And once that happens, they're like, oh, Jesus Christ, it's a ghost quake. Well, we got to go get our equipment and set it up. So they do just that. They go get their equipment. They've got a couple of nerd boners poking out of their pants. They go get their equipment. They set it up. They spend the night there at Carla's house. In the middle of the night, we get a lightning phenomenon thing happening over their bed. The two jerkwads see the whole thing and capture it on video and take pictures and shit. Pretty scary stuff. They were all hot and bothered by it. We find out these two clowns actually work for the university, the same one that Snyderman works at. So they go back to their department head and they're like, look, we have all this evidence. We can actually, document some stuff here. And so they get approval from their department head, who's played by one of the grandmas from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. I think she's paralyzed in the face. I don't know. Like, her facial expression doesn't move at all throughout the entire movie. And the more evidence they bring her, the more downtrodden she appears to be. They're like, look at this. We got electrical phenomena. We got poltergeist stuff. We got this stuff happening. We got a ghost quake. And she's like, well, it could just be a short circuit. Short circuit. But it's all fake. You're just a stupid person. And that's why I'm not an actor, inmates. Eventually, they get approval from her to set up a full-on experiment there at the house. So they move the whole team in. There's 25 kids in there setting up cameras and microphones and a bunch of other shit. And this is when Snyderman decides that he's not done trying to bang Carla. So he rolls up in the middle of this setup, and he's like, oh, hello, I'm Dr. Snyderman here. I'm here to check on my patient, Carla Moran. Is she around? I'd like to take her out to a nice dinner, maybe some gefilte fish. They're like, yeah, she's in the back. We're with the paranormal department, and we're conducting some experiments. And this is where Snyderman turns into a cocksore. He's like, a paranormal, huh? Well, let me tell you something. I think if you'll excuse my French, I think you're full of bullshit. This is not a paranormal entity. This is some kind of a problem inside of her head. And by the way, I brought her a nice bottle of wine. We're going to go out for dinner and dancing later. And they're like, all right, go fuck yourself. He goes and talks to Carla, and Carla's like, look, asshole, number one, I'm not going to have sex with you. Number two, you wanted to have me committed. But number three, you did exactly fuck all to help me. I got a whole team of college kids in here, and at the very least, they are acknowledging the fact that I'm not crazy, which you have failed to do, despite the fact that, you wanted me to suck your dick or whatever. So she basically tells Snyderman to kick rocks. He gets all butthurt and hops in his Dodge Dart and hauls ass out of there. In the meantime, we have the full-on crew here ready to witness the phenomenon, and that night it goes down. And Charlie and the Chocolate Factory grandma is there to witness it. Ghost quake, electrical phenomenon, they get the whole shit on video, and they all witness it, and Carla's chasing the lightning bolts around the house. She's like, you're a coward! You want to hurt me, but you can't because there's too many cameras and all these people can see you, you fucking coward. And the kids are there, and they're like, oh my god, Mom, it's here! Eventually, the phenomenon dies down, and the kids are like, holy fucking shit, did you see all that? It's actually real. They gather up all their equipment and their evidence, and they haul ass, and that's when Jerry comes back in. He's like, hey, I'm here, I'm ready to have sex with you, and I don't have to go on the road anymore. And she's like, oh, yeah, great. By the way, who were all those kids with all these people coming in and out of your house? And she's like, okay, let me tell you what's really going on. I've been getting ghost raped for a couple weeks. Really sucks. I talked to one doctor. He thinks I'm crazy. Talk to these kids. They think I'm not crazy. There's a ghost rapist in the house, and they want to try to help me get rid of it. So that's where we're at. And he's like, oh, my God, Carla, what are you doing? What are you doing? I'm Mo Green, for Christ's sakes. They kind of have a tender moment, and then he bought her a negligee. So they're on the point of having sex. And unfortunately, that's when our horny ghost shows up. and jumps on top of her and starts banging her. Jerry walks out to witness this, and again, she's being held down nude, and her breasts are being fondled and things like that. So Jerry picks up a chair and smashes her in the head with it. Now, his intention was to get whatever the fuck was on top of her off of her. I understand that. He tried, but he got his ass kicked across the room. Thus, he went to the chair. Unfortunately, Billy walked in just as the chair was coming down on Carla's face. So now he jumps on top of Jerry and starts fighting Jerry. And now we're just going to cut to the hospital an hour later, where somehow this situation has unfucked itself. Carla's good. She just has a mild concussion. Jerry's there, but he is officially freaked out. Dr. Snyderman rolls in. He's like, Jerry, hi, I'm Dr. Silverman. I'm sorry. I've been trying to get on top of your girlfriend for the last couple of weeks. Listen, she's coming to. She just has a mild concussion. You just need to go in there and tell her everything's okay. And Jerry's like, I'm Mo Green, for Christ's sakes. I can't be in there. It's too crazy. I don't want anything to do with her. And he hauls ass. And that, my friends, is the end of Jerry. Alex Rocco, Mo Green, has left the building. I think it was Fredo. I think should have been the one to kill Mo Green, but it had to be done. He was a scumbag, dude. I mean, he had a sweet arrangement with Carla. He just goes on the road, comes back, bangs her, goes back on the road, comes back. It's a thing. But he's gone, and that's that. Now, at this point, our paranormal investigation team is looking at solutions. So they come up with the bright idea that what they're going to do is they're going to build a replica of Carla's house inside the gymnasium of the college there. And what they want to do is they want to freeze the rapist in liquid hydrogen. And then once he's frozen, they can gather data on him. But they need to really encapsulate him in liquid nitrogen is the thing. So Carla moves in by herself. Her kids are back home. While that's happening, Dr. Snyderman is running back and forth. You're crazy. They're all crazy. They're going to kill her. Nobody looks out for this young lady except for me. I can't wait to take her out to a nice dinner. I'm going to wine her and dine her, and we're going to have a romance. And the whole time, like, all the department heads are going, no, fuckface. You're way overstepping your doctor-patient privileges here. I get that you want to get on top of her, but she has declined your services. So they have this fake house set up in the gymnasium with these hydrogen containers, and they're walking Carla around. She agrees to all of this. There's like a safe area, and like as she's just going to lay there and just go about her daily business. When the temperature spikes and there's certain sensors go off, alerting them to the presence of the entity, she's going to run to a safe area, hit the red button, and that's going to flood the fake house with liquid nitrogen, and thus they will have captured him. Excellent. Capital idea. They get her in there, they get situated. Snyderman comes barreling in there. Carla, can I talk to you for a second? This is insane. Look, you got liquid nitrogen over here. This is very, very dangerous. Look, I have reservations for 9:30 tonight at a very nice Italian restaurant. You need to come with me immediately. She's like, no. You had your chance, fuckwad. Quit trying to get in my panties. All right, I have enough problems down there as it is. You need to eat my ass and get the fuck out of here because you're not trying to help me. You're just trying to get on top of me, just like this fucking thing I'm dealing with. Eventually, all the paranormal dorks come down and they escort Snyderman out, which is great. Snyderman goes and talks to his department head, and he's like, if you're not going to do something, I will. While that's going on, Carla is in the fake house, and the thing is following her around in a weird way, and it's tripping all of the nitrogen containers. So she has to do an obstacle course to avoid getting flash frozen to get to the safe area. Eventually she does, but once she gets there, the thing has already fucked up the entire house, and it kind of collapses into the gymnasium, setting off the sprinkler system. Snyderman comes running in. Oh, Carla, I'm here to save you, baby doll. Luckily, the last of the canisters explode, and it traps the entity in a big chunk of ice. Carla and Snyderman go hauling ass out of there. The ice chunk thing starts to slowly like crumble apart as if the thing is escaping, and of course it gets out and runs away or whatever. But they got it all on video, and Charlie in the chocolate factory grandma is like, "Look, you saw it, you son of a bitch, you saw it." And he's like, "I don't know what I saw. It looked like a big thing of ice. It could be anything." And she's like, "You son of a bitch." And then the last shot of the movie is Carla going back to get the last of her stuff out of the house. And she walks in and the door slams behind her. And this deep voice goes, "Welcome home, cunt." And then she just kind of shrugs and walks out. And that's the end of your movie. That was The Entity from 1982. It's a good show by 1982 standards. Does it hold up? I suppose so. I suppose it does. If you can get away from the nosy fucking Dr. Snyderman and the beeline love story that we had to have in every goddamn movie made before 1988, it's fine. It's a good show. Ghost rape, violent as shit. Yeah. I always make the joke that if this were happen to happen to a guy, it would happen once, and then the rest of the movie would be him trying to recreate when the ghost jerked him off getting out of the bathtub. So I think I was half hard, and then I stepped out this way, and oh, look at me, demon. I got a half boner here, and sure am vulnerable right now. Stupid. Anyway, it's a good show. It's kind of hard to track down. It is available for sale on Shout Factory. There's a limited edition collector's Blu-ray. That's what I happen to have. It's worth a watch. I'm sure you've seen it, Inmates. It's a little bit on the older side. If not, check it out. Check it out. It's not a bad show. I'm going to take a break and come back with some other stuff here.
Say that shit, girl, I was goddamn hot. So we left the crib, now we in the goddamn ride. She looking goddamn fine. I wanted a bitch who was down to earth, but she want the goddamn sky. List of my problems, got that one on my line that won't stop fucking calling. It's crazy how I made her that way. Every time I see her out, I see the hate in her face. Like, why you do that? Tell her you love her, and next week you just want your space. Why you do that? Tell her you want her, but next week you do your own thing. Why you do that? I can't explain it, but just know it working for me. She text me, I hate you, I hate you, I hate you, I hate you, but how the fuck can you hate me? When I ain't did shit, but be the real thing. She know I'm the real, that'll never change. I never been the one to try to explain why you catch them feels. I'ma sip on this drink, it's these in my brain. I got real shit to stress about, girl, I ain't worried about shit. Oh shit, remember that I tried to build you, now I ain't worried about shit. I got real shit to stress about, girl, I ain't worried about shit. Oh shit, remember that I tried to build you, now I ain't worried about shit. Found me a new thing, I'm not as lost as you think. Got plenty of queens in my hometown, all they need is drinking that day. So I found me a new thing, I'm not as lost as you think. Got plenty of queens in my hometown, all they need is drinking that day. It's a goddamn shame. We done crashed, we done burned, but baby, you the goddamn blame. See, I wanted love, but you wanted goddamn fame. Every goddamn thing. I wanted a bitch who was on the move, but you wanted goddamn late. Listing my problems, got that one in my bed and she just wanna sleep. Fucking up all of the sheets, she only wake up to eat. Do this shit every week, like why you do that? Crying, you wanna be great, but sleeping until the next day. Why you do that? Don't got that much in the bank. We go out, she order the steak. Why you do that? She can't explain it, but just know it working for her. She claiming she down on her luck, but really she don't give a fuck. And I cannot make this shit. I ain't this shit, be the real thing. She know I'm the real, that'll never change. I won't be the one to try to explain why you catch them feels. I'ma sip on this drink, it's easing the pain. I got real shit to stress about, girl, I ain't worried about shit. Oh shit, remember Remember that I tried to build you. Now I ain't worried about shit. I got real shit to stress about, girl. I ain't worried about shit. Oh shit. Remember that I tried to build you. Now I ain't worried about shit. Found me a new thing. I'm not as lost as you think. Got plenty queens in my hometown. All they need is drinking that day. So I found me a new thing. I'm not as lost as you think. Got plenty queens in my hometown. All they need is drinking that day.
Hey inmates, if you like what you hear, head over to the Padded Room Facebook group and support us through the Patreon link with a small monthly donation. Check out the T-Villain link at paddedroom.podbean.com and grab some t-shirts. Thanks for listening and enjoy the rest of the show.
And I am back, ladies and gentlemen. Woo! Well hydrated and ready to continue the show. I think it's time for 3 on a meat hook.
Three on a meat hook.
This week's meat hook, top 3 horniest horror movie villains. Now, this is a carefully cultivated list I've put together for you because a lot of people will confuse a sexy horror movie villain with a horny horror movie villain. So, my number 3 horniest horror movie villain is going to be all the way from Woodsboro, California. It's Billy Loomis. God damn, was he trying to get on top of Sidney Prescott. He succeeded in the end. Which begs the question, if she had given it up a little sooner, maybe he would have avoided the killing spree. I'm just saying. I don't know. You know how teenage boys get when they get to that age? You know, the hormones are running wild. They're trying to pressure their girlfriends into doing things. They don't want to do it. Maybe they do. Maybe they're just holding out because they feel like they should. And then all kinds of craziness breaks loose inside the teenage male mind. It happens. Most of the time it doesn't lead to serial murder. But in this case, that's a horny young man. You can't fault him for that. I'm not saying it's Sidney's fault. He's still wildly unstable and had some unresolved issues about the parental divorce thing, but that's neither here nor there. Number 3, Billy Loomis. Number 2, someone very near and dear to my heart, Patrick Bateman. Now, he's horny. Yes, he'll shell out some dollars for a high-end prostitute and some other dollars for a low-end prostitute. But I feel like given the really what he wants to do is have sex with himself in a weird way. Because like when he's banging these prostitutes, he's striking poses, he's looking at himself in the camera. Sex is a big build up to the murder, obviously, and the things he does with Michelle Williams is ridiculous. And I mean, look at all the little sketches he drew. That's a horny dude. But he has access to regular, no strings attached sex. So I feel like it's more of a power play, but sex has to be a part of that. It's my number 2, Patrick Bateman. Number 1, the all-time horny, horniest horn dog of all time. It's Count Dracula, man. Now, a couple of things on that. In the original Bram Stoker work, he was not the charming, debonair aristocrat. He was more of a barbarian type, and he didn't really give a fuck about Mina Harker or Lucy. They were both just leverage to get him into London. I'm talking more about, obviously, the Gary Oldman 1992 Francis Ford Coppola incarnation where it was much more of a love story. He's got 3 wives. You know he's having all kinds of undead sex with them. And then on top of that, he's madly in love with Mina. He already put it down on Lucy. She didn't survive, but she did get turned in the process. So, I mean, what is that, 4 chicks? Not to mention the way he's moving through London, just slaying ass left and right. Dude, that's a horny guy. And I don't know that he's even capable, like, biologically of producing a boner. So, I mean, clearly something's going on there, because other than the mixing of the blood, that apparently is an orgasmic situation. So, that is my top 3 horniest horror movie villains. Number 1, Dracula. Number 2, Patrick Bateman. Number 3, Billy Loomis. I would love to know what your top 3 horny horror movie villains are. That's a mouthful. Let me know by next week if you have time. Mental Health Hotline is area code 775-387-0275. Or the regular old email. Just go to paddedroompodcast.com. Hit the mail link. Bingo bango. You're right there. But now, it is time for the Terradome.
No tears, please. It's a waste of good suffering.
I'm not gonna hurt you. You didn't let me finish my sentence. I said, I'm not gonna hurt you. I'm just gonna bash your brains in. I'm gonna bash them right the fuck in. I'll kill you all. I'll drive you crazy. I'll kill you all. I'll be the man you ever had. My worst dream come true.
6-year-old child with this blank, pale, emotionless face, the blackest eyes, the devil's eyes.
Welcome to the Terradome.
First, last week's winner. We were in the Inferno Conference Round 8, closing out the Inferno Conference preliminaries. We had The Predator versus Freddy Krueger. Once the hunter identified the girl with the abilities, the waiting game began. She had dragged random items from her dreams and at any point could pull the sleep stalker. That night, amidst the screaming and thrashing in her bedroom, he appeared. Clawed hand poised to impale the young lady, that was when the plasma caster fired, and it was all over. With a vote of 5-4, the Predator advances over Freddy Krueger. Yeah, I get that it's possible that the Predator could dream, but really, Freddy is a child killer / teenage killer. He's not going to know how to deal with an intergalactic hunter, man. Right? I mean, what kind of dreams is the Predator going to have? I don't know. Let's take a look at this week's matchup, shall we? We are in the Asylum Conference, Round 1. As usual, inmates, bear with me. I'm not much of a writer. Cheryl ran. Miles went by, then days, weeks, and months. She changed her name, her appearance, her entire identity in the hopes of escaping. But the cult of Metatron was fast-moving and efficient, always no more than a few weeks behind her, hell-bent on bringing her back to Silent Hill and completing the sacrifice. An off-the-grid summer camp in Vermont just so happens to be in need of counselors. Cheryl has no experience but manages to talk her way into a seasonal position. The pay is horrible and there are some job hazards, but it's just what she needs. 3 months without a footprint. What Cheryl doesn't know or bothers to learn is the history of the camp. How many times it's been closed due to foul play. Or about the boy in the lake. his homicidal mother, or the average life expectancy of a Crystal Lake camp counselor. Singles competition, we have Jason Voorhees versus Pyramid Head. I gotta go with Pyramid Head on this one, inmates. That fucking giant sword is ridiculous. Jason Voorhees is a killing machine, but he has a certain type, you know? He can kill the shit out of some teenagers who are trying to have sex with each other. Put him up against a demon, like a giant demon avenger or executioner, whatever you want to call Pyramid Head. I think he's going to come up short. I got to go with Pyramid Head on this one. Get me your votes by next week, inmates. Again, mental health hotline, area code 775-387-0275, or the regular old email. Just go to paddedroompodcast.com and let me know who you think would win this fight. I got to hear it. But now I have to tell you what movies I got to watch this week in a little segment called What Are You Looking At?
What are you looking at?
How about Humanoids from the Deep from 1980? I couldn't believe that I don't actually own a physical copy of this movie. I'm going to have to track one down. It just popped up on Shudder while I was getting ready to go somewhere or something, so I sat down and watched it. It was on Joe Bob's last drive-in. I got all the interesting fun facts. It's as Roger Corman as you can get. Some of the boobs in that movie are absolutely astounding. Like the girls that they got to get topless for the nasty fish rape scenes. Wow! By 1980 standards, banging bodies. And this is pre-implant situation, you know what I'm saying? Other than that, it's pretty silly. You got Doug McClure in there. We're somehow supposed to sign off on him being an action star. Not really. He's had to be in his mid-60s when that movie was made. Still a good show, I say, all the way around. I watched that, and I watched a movie called Snow Falls from 2023. This one just happened to pop up on Tubi. Caught my interest, so I sat through it. So the idea is, you got this group of kids that go to this isolated cabin in the woods to party. They're there, everything's cool, and then a massive blizzard comes in and knocks the power out, which in turn knocks the heating out. And now they are kind of sequestered in this cabin in the woods. Now, the idea was supposed to be that they were all slowly dying of hypothermia. Unfortunately, the writers of this film didn't bother to do any research on what hypothermia does or how it actually works. You're not going to get hypothermia if you stay dry and indoors. Not to mention the fact that every character in this movie is bundled up in giant winter parkas the entire time. So, on top of that, they have a fireplace going, and they are all slowly dying of hypothermia, which leads to, various delusions and accusations, and the infighting starts and things like that. Lazy writing. That's what that is. I get it. You don't have much of a special effects budget, so you need to find a way to kill these kids without actually killing these kids. So the best you came up with was hypothermia. Now, a lot of the snow was CGI. A lot of the oxidated breath was CGI. So you clearly have access to CGI. Okay. You wanna go the hypothermia route? You got to ditch the winter parkas. You got to put them outside. Dude. I mean, I learned about this stuff in grade school. You couldn't figure this out? It's very distracting, and it's not just because I know a thing or two about hypothermia. It's because anybody that's ever seen anything about any kind of winter horror would know that this is bullshit. And it doesn't make any fucking sense. But for that point, we have to sign off on it and roll with it. It's not a very good movie. I'm going to tell you that right now. And the fact that they're all bundled up and there's a fire going through 90% of the movie makes it very hard to sign off on the hypothermia thing. All right, not very good. I'm going to tell you to skip Snowfalls. That's all I'm looking at this week, inmates. How about some immersion therapy, yeah?
Immersion therapy.
So, what's up with Melissa Barrera? I mean, does she just not know how to act? Or, is she just over it? In Abigail, I kind of felt like she was just over it. You know what I mean? Her facial expression does not change the entire movie. And as bad as she was in Scream 5 and 6, she's just so flat and monotone. She's very attractive, I'll give her that. She can make a killing on OnlyFans. But as far as like, Melissa, I need you to be scared right here. Okay. Okay, now go over there and be surprised. Okay. Oh. You know, it's just, there's like no life. It's like she's like a dime store mannequin in this movie. I don't understand it. Other than that, I'm not going to let her ruin the movie for me. I really like the movie. I thought Kevin Durant was probably, between Kevin Durant and Dan Stevens, I thought they both did a great job. The little girl, whoever the hell she was, she was awesome. I like the premise of it, you know? You fucked around, you kidnapped Dracula's daughter? Shit. And we don't even have to get him involved. You got enough problems with her, man. Think about that. Oh, fuck. It's bad business. Definitely worth a watch, I'd say. The studios definitely want us to fall in love with Melissa Barrera. I can't do it. She's not a scream queen. She's not much of an actress. She is very attractive. If she were to set up an OnlyFans account, she would probably be set for life. But other than that, I'm not all that interested, man. She just looked so like, I don't know, man. It kind of felt like she I don't mean to impose my thoughts on her, but it kind of felt like she thought she was too good for this movie. That's just the weirdo vibe that I got from it. Maybe I'm just bitter over the last two Scream movies. I don't know. You tell me. Your immersion therapy for this week is going to be Double Blind from 2023. This one just hit Tubi. It is directed by Ian Hunt Duffy, stars Millie Brady and Akshay Kumar. Check that shit out, inmates. We'll do the same, and we can compare notes next week. But now, you must educate me.
Educating Miss Monica.
First, my clues from last week. I am a young man in the onset of World War II. I live in Belarus, and my country has been occupied by Nazis. I am a 12-year-old full of piss and vinegar, and I just so happen to have found a working rifle. Well, I'm going to go teach these fucking Nazis a lesson. Oh, shit. They're actually going to teach me a lesson about the horrors of war. And I'm going to see a lot of terrible, terrible things. And, so I'm going to age about 80 years in the space of a couple of months. So some shit really goes awry, and my plans of grandeur and glory do not come to fruition. I am, of course, Come and See. Alan nailed that one. It's a rough movie, dude. I got it off the Criterion Collection. It's pretty graphic, and they do some fucked up shit, and it makes you not want to like the Nazis. Not that anybody liked Nazis to begin with, but Are there any movies where the Nazis are the good guys? I don't think so. I think there's one somewhere. I haven't seen it, but I think somewhere there's a good Nazi running around. I don't know. Who might I be this week, you ask? I am a struggling, aspiring urban artist. And I had a very traumatic event happen in my early childhood. I don't remember it, but my mom does, and she told me about it, and it's coming back to haunt me. And there's a lot of different urban legends that surround what happened to me when I was a baby. Things got very hot, and somebody died trying to save me from this urban legend, and that sucks. And now I feel like that urban legend has come back to claim me now that I'm an adult, 25, 26 years later. And, maybe I'm just going crazy. I don't know if I'm going crazy or if this thing is actually real, and now people around me are dying in very violent and disgusting fashions, and there's a whole social movement behind it, and maybe I'm the crazy one, but now the police are looking at me like I'm the one killing these people because I'm kind of the link that puts them all together, and I'm not, or at least I don't think I am, or maybe this thing is possessing me, and I'm turning into the next one of those. That could be a thing. I don't know. Who might I be, inmates, you ask? Tune in next week and I will drop some knowledge on you. In the meantime, I think that's about going to do it for me. Thank you very much for joining me for a solo show. Chuck and Buddy, hopefully back next week. Join me next week for Demons 2. Yeah, after all the critical acclaim we got for Demons 2, I thought I better fandango it into Demon Month here. Demons 2 next week, inmates. Like, comment, subscribe wherever you found this show. That helps our visibility quite a bit. We do have a Patreon campaign running. If you need any info about anything, just go to paddedroompodcast.com. You'll find all the links, all the topics, the show schedule, 640 back episodes for your listening enjoyment. Go crazy there. It's all right there. Just paddedroompodcast.com. In the meantime, for Buddy in absentia, Chuck in absentia, Nosy Peppers, Jalapeno Business, they are nacho friends, as a matter of fact. Social justice, urban legends, and the damage they do. Nazis. I'm sure one of them somewhere was a decent dude that just got wrapped up in some shit. I have no idea, to be honest with you. I should probably shut up about Nazis. Melissa Barrera. We should start a GoFundMe to get her some acting classes, I think would be a good idea. Or, the adverse is we'll set her up her own OnlyFans page. And then she doesn't need to act anymore, and we can all enjoy her assets that way. I don't know. I'm talking to my butt. And the Padded Room Podcast, I'm afraid visiting hours are over.